Welcome to the online course of Leadership and Management Practice on behalf of the Fashion Stream. Today is Tuesday, March 31, 2020. We will discuss about low and high fidelity prototyping. This video is prepared by Erlanga Mahardhika and Emilia Fitriana Dewey. Now, let's start the course and I hope that you enjoy this video. Prototyping is the iterative generation of artifacts intended to answer questions that get you closer to your final solution. Prototypes are often referred to as low or high fidelity. Ranging from a low-fidelity simulation of the system, for example, paper prototype, to a fully operational prototype, which is almost identical to the real system. So why prototyping? There are many advantages of doing prototyping, such as to ideate and problem solve, to communicate, to start a conversation, to manage the solution building process. And the two most important things are to fail quickly and cheaply, and to test possibilities. Let me give you a very simple example of prototyping into a final solution. Here in this video, there is a team from IDEO creating prototyping for Elmo's Monster Maker iPhone app.
Cue music. So this is possible dance moves for Monster Maker. So music starts, and I'm the player, so I come in and I touch the monster, and he gives me a special dance move. I go and touch again, and he does a different one. And it can go for as long as I want, and he has a few signature moves. And when I've had enough and I'm done dancing, I push the back button, and it pauses and the music stops. Monster Maker.
Cool!
That's all I can. That's all I can.
Wow!
And hear what it looks like in the final solution.
You can green screen. You can he'll dance.
Are you making him move?
I can make him go side to side. That
Wow.
seems to be it.
Wow.
That video leading us to questions such as, who will you show your prototype to? What do you expect to learn from them? And what role do you want them to play in the design? Prototyping take many forms like paper, cardboard, foam, clay, index cards, and many other things. A prototypes can be a sketches, diagrams and frameworks, handmade constructions, machined constructions such as using 3D printer, role play, and even a video. Or if you try to deliver some questionnaire, this is also counts since you are trying to research and design your final solution by understanding your potential user. So this is how we distinguish between low fidelity and high fidelity. Low fidelity most likely is cheap, easy to build lots, gross design, limited error checking and limited functionality. While for high fidelity most likely are complete in functionality, interactive, expensive, and time-consuming. Prototyping from early design is known as low-fidelity prototypes as a process to become high-fidelity prototypes, where finally turn into a working system and become a late design. From the late design, eventually, there are possibilities of iteration until it becomes a final solution. Now let me show you a more comprehensive video of prototyping. This video is well presented from the Google for Startups talking about rapid prototyping by sketching.
What is a prototype? The way I think about it, a prototype is an experimental model of an idea. It's a way to give our ideas a presence that we can put in front of somebody else to see if our idea has value. As a design researcher here at Google, I put ideas in front of people who use our products all the time. Is your idea ready to be put in front of people? Yes. In fact, in this video series, we'll share with you several types of prototyping methods that you can use to get your ideas in front of people as soon as possible. Now, how will you know when it's right to show your idea to someone else? The fidelity of your prototype should match the fidelity of your thinking. So don't be afraid to share your prototypes early and often to get feedback to guide your next product design decision. So we put together a series of 3 videos to introduce you to various techniques we use at Google. There's sketching and paper prototyping, digital prototyping with form and principle, and native prototyping. So to get things started, let's take a look at how teams at Google take an idea in their head and make the first stroke of the pen on paper.
Hi, my name is Melissa Powell, and I'm on Google's Developer Relations team. I get to work with designers, developers, and entrepreneurs both inside and outside of Google to solve some pretty tough design challenges.
And I'm Miriam Sheikh, a senior user experience designer at Google. I design ad experiences to make them better and simpler to use for products such as Google Search, AdWords, and DoubleClick. And we're here to talk to you about sketching and paper prototyping. I often work in digital prototyping and graphic design tools to create high-fidelity mocks like these. But even at a high-tech company like Google, we generally start the design process with something that looks a lot more like this. By the end of the video, you should feel confident knowing when to use sketching and paper prototyping, 4 types of sketches we commonly use at Google, and 3 primary benefits of paper prototyping. Sketching is a fundamental part of the design process and can help you make key decisions about what to design. It can be as simple as drawing on a piece of paper or even a Post-it note. Or you can use any of these common materials to create a more realistic sketch and share your sketch with others. Sketching can be used in nearly any stage in the product design process. You can use different types of sketches depending on who you're working with and what you need to communicate. Sketching is great when thinking through all of the initial ideas running through your head. You can sketch to outline the steps in a user flow, explore a variety of layouts, and to show the basic app structure, or what we commonly call a wireframe. Once you've agreed on the rough layout, we usually create higher fidelity sketches with details such as buttons, images, and color. At this point, you may decide to transfer your sketches to your digital tools, but the more you can flesh out your ideas on paper, the faster you'll move on your computer. During mid-development and even post-launch, you may need to rethink your design and want to quickly visualize new ideas. So you might bust out a pen and paper even if you already have high-fidelity digital prototypes. It can be faster to communicate and validate your new ideas through sketches before you have to make those changes to your digital prototype.
In addition to sketching, another low-fidelity option is paper prototyping. Today I'll cover how paper prototyping can help you think through key user interactions, use color more purposefully, and visualize elevation and shadows. And let me give you some practical paper prototyping pro tips. As you can see with the sketch that Miriam created, it's easy to visualize the user flow, but it's a little bit more difficult to understand the user interactions between the screens. You can use your paper prototype to simulate interactions. For example, if we look over here, I've pre-created some paper prototypes, and we can explore what happens when I click on an individual button. Here we have the floating action button, or the quantity, and we can actually have it drop down. And see what happens when a new screen appears and we're looking at the checkout cart. We can also select the address, and a pop-up window will appear. To avoid carrying around your paper prototype from meeting to meeting, record these interactions with your phone. Or you can create an animated GIF by taking a few stills and throwing it into Google Photos' Auto Awesome feature. It's just easier to share your ideas with people that way. Another pro tip is to print out existing screens. Instead of redrawing all the common elements over and over, the goal here isn't to test your arts and crafts skills, but to explore the interactions and natural transitions between the screens. And since we're working with paper, you can also explore different principles of material design, such as color, elevation, and shadows. Material design is Google's visual design language that synthesizes classic principles of good design with the innovation and possibility of technology. And at the end of the day, it was inspired by the study of paper and ink. So why not get back to basics using paper and ink? A good place to start is to think through purposeful and consistent use of colors. The material design spec has a lot of great information about selecting hues and saturations, so be sure to explore the full material design color palette at the link in the description below. And be purposeful with your use of color, not just on one screen, but throughout the app. In general, we recommend choosing one primary color, which is most commonly used for components such as the app bar or background, and 1 or perhaps 2 accent colors for anything that you want to grab the user's attention, such as the fab, or to indicate that a tab has been selected. Paper prototyping can help you think through your purposeful use of color because as a practical paper prototyping pro, you'll want to reuse the colors throughout the app. Not only is that easier, but when this translates to your final product, it will reduce visual noise for the user, making navigation much easier. And because we're working with physical materials, be sure to make note of how the layers form shadows. Of course, we have the x-axis and the y-axis. With material design, we're encouraged to consider and make use of the z-axis, an elevation of each sheet. You can read more about elevation and shadows in the material design spec, linked in the description below.
As you saw, you can use different types of sketching throughout the product design cycle to help you visualize and communicate your ideas in a lightweight fashion with user flows, rapid sketches of many layout options, wireframes, and detailed sketches with images and text.
And paper prototyping is one technique that can help you think through key user interactions and explore material design principles, such as purposeful use of color, elevation, and shadows.
Now that you've visualized your ideas on paper, you can shop them around with your teammates or users to validate your assumptions and make smarter design decisions. You can translate your sketches into higher fidelity digital mocks to build a robust prototype.
After you saw the video, you need to know that there are 3 stages of design in prototyping. The first one is to inspire, where the design would be rough. The second one is to evolve, where the design would become rapid. And finally, in the third stage, the time has come for validation to make things right. I also need to explain about prototyping behaviors based on the 3 stages of design in prototyping. Some of them are: embrace failure in inspire stage, expect changes in evolve, and manage changes in validate. And talking about the leverage process, there are big differences between them. Leverage your design community in inspire stage. Leverage your experts in evolve. And leverage your vendor network in validate. In the previous video, you are basically doing phase 1 of prototypes, which is inspire. And with hopefully a slight foray into phase 2 or evolve. Now, I would like to give you an example of prototyping in fashion. In low fidelity, sketches are considered as the early design. In the process, questionnaires are being distributed to ensure market trends and demand. When the sketch is perfected and turn into a rendered design, it becomes medium fidelity prototypes, and the questionnaires may be delivered again to ensure the business potential. A high fidelity prototype can be a product that may not use the exact materials but with proper size and colors. Let's see how prototyping in fashion becomes very interesting when it turns into the final solution in the next video. Lemon and Orange created a virtual fitting room for Timberland where people could try out clothes from the newest collection without actually wearing them. Dorota Williams supported the action and gave some advice on fashion in Makoto Gallery on the 25th of October 2014. The device followed the person's movement and analyzed it in real time thanks to Kinect technology. When a person got close to it, the app scanned the person's face, took a picture and looked for a good model for it. On an 80-inch screen, using their gestures, they could freely change their outfits: jackets, jumpers, trousers, and shoes. The person could go back to the previous outfit and make some changes anytime they wanted. At the end, their new look was saved and sent by email to the person who created it and also put in the gallery on Timberland's fan page. The outfit could have also been shared on Facebook following the link from the email. A special app for iPad was enabled for customers visiting Timberland in Makoto Gallery. Tablet version took a picture of the face and put it on a model. Later, by using the touch screen, the person could have changed the clothes freely. Like before, the outfit was sent by email and could have been shared on Facebook. A Facebook app is being created for those who could not use it in Makoto Gallery. In a moment on Timberland's fan page, everyone will be able to create their own stylish outfits. You may now notice how to distinguish between verification and validation in the process of prototyping. Are we doing the thing right? If you have checked it, the next thing is, are we doing the right thing? Kindly check it again. Now, after you saw the whole video, can you guess the medical tool in this picture? Is it low, medium, or high fidelity of prototyping? Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoy the video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy.